Be real. Actually be real. I won't give you a technique. Why would I give you a technique? What do you want from me?
What if you're not humble?
Then be arrogant, and be arrogant in the best way. Be the best possible version of yourself. Be arrogant. Go for it. Go for it, but do something. Don't do half measures. Like you said, I'm confused. I don't know if I'll do this or do that. Do something. Take a position. The big problem with the spiritual community, we don't take a position. For everything I say, there's a counter. I say, get arrogant. Oh, but brother, this is wrong.
What would you say is the importance of humility, though?
To realize that you don't really know anything. Like, so the reality is, I could really hype this up. And I probably will. Probably talk to some of the lads and say, yeah, bro, you know, it's like thousands of them. They were chanting my name and stuff. But the reality is, it's humbling. Yeah, I do that occasionally as well. It's fun, you know what I mean? Because when you come from the Sufi tradition, you've got to do these things and stuff. The reality is, this is just crazy. To me, all this talk is teaching me is that, oh God, there's more of this to come yet. You know, and it's like, I feel like this is my first talk. And how do I feel, how do I know and how do I feel like it's my first talk? Because I'm just here. I'm here. We're conditioned to be anywhere but here. So we miss these moments. That's why, you know, there's an article I'm writing which will possibly get published soon. And it was about a child turned around to their father and said, Dad, I'm really sad. I want to go back to the last days. What he meant was, I just want to go back to those moments. We all have these moments. So as a child, I would go to a park and I would swing and I would look up at the clouds and I'd see these houses. And I'd go, wow, I wonder what the people are like who live in those houses. I bet they're really happy. So when I first heard about the Isle of Man, as you can imagine, the ideas came into my head. Oh, wow, the Isle of Man. Turn around to my mates, yeah, you know, I'm doing this talk at the Isle of Man. I go, bro, safe, yes, a tax haven. And I thought, they've got big houses here, they're all dead. Sorry, I went there. You know, tax haven, all this stuff, you know what I mean? And like, wow, they're all going to be having these really happy lives. I got here and I thought, I was shattered. What do you mean there's trauma going on here? What do you mean you have, like, you're listening to this stuff? What's wrong with you people? Because we're so conditioned to believe that the grass is green on the other side. Is it? Is it really? And we don't challenge these ideas. So, and then the heavens opened up. Come inside and stuff. Yeah, that'll teach you guys to sit out there. Do you know what I mean? And everything. Our Lord is merciful and our Lord does these things. That's what's so beautiful. That's what's so beautiful. Those moments that we're conditioned to go, hey, I'll make a story out of this. And it's that childlike innocence. I'm no fool, but I live like a child because their wisdom is ultimate. It's beautiful. And we could learn from them. Along the way oh, you're just hardcore. I like it. Young lady sitting out there, it's raining on her, she don't care, man. Do you know what I mean? Anything. We will confer great enlightenments upon you later and stuff. See, you can use humor. Sorry, yes. Sorry, could you speak up? Because, like, God's just, yes.
In terms of realization,
yeah.
People are trying to justify consistency in there. So we've got the guy in a tax haven who wants to buy more and more material goods.
Yeah.
It's not making him happy.
Yes.
What he wants to make it.
That's his method. We all have a method. For some of us, it's sitting in this room. For some of us, it's accumulation of wealth. For some of us, it's being in negative relationships. For some of us, it's getting drunk. You know, I remember when I talked in Glasgow, there's somebody who's had 12 pints walking out of a pub in Glasgow who's probably using getting drunk as a way to realize what they actually are. So I don't negate anything, but I do kind of throw out, you know, like I had a very famous banker who turned up at one of my talks. And it was crazy, you know, the guy made a speech in which he talked about people go out and buy a toaster. And I went out and bought a bank. And it was incredible because you're sitting here with a guy who looks like he's messed up his entire life. And you're trying to figure this out and stuff. I think it's just the methods that we're using. This is why I'm saying, please examine these ideas. Please eliminate these ideas you have. I mean, I'm not just talking about conditioning. I'm talking about eliminate the ideas about spirituality as well. Because there are some very wrong ideas going on here as well. I may be one of them. So eliminate me as well. And when you eliminate all of these things, when these veils drop, eliminating this barrier to love, what we find is that we realize that it wasn't love we were seeking. We were just doing the work we needed to. You know, there's a teacher called Byron Katie, she talks about the work. Well, this is just the work, because what happens is once we come off the mountain of, oh God, realization is this, we've still got to pay the bills. We've still got to sit here. We've still got to conduct ourselves. You know, I learn so much from the people around me. There's your humility. And even with that humility, I'm not saying I'm a humble guy. I know I can improve. We have this concept in Islam, it's called jihad. Yes, I said it, the J word and everything. Fell flat on its face, that one. Now, jihad is basically seen as a holy war. So people in the West are like, jihad means holy war. It doesn't. It actually means to strive. We have another concept in Islam, we call it ihsan, which is the excellence of faith and stuff. There was a hadith of the Prophet where he met the angel Gabriel, but he talked about this excellence of faith. So by striving, we look to live in this state of excellence. This state of excellence is being here, being in this moment. And for that, we eliminate every single barrier that is in the way. Your task is not to seek for love. It's to eliminate the barriers. This is where conditioning comes in. This is where all the healing modalities that are happening here. Phil did a talk earlier on about NLP. It's all designed for us to get rid of the unnecessary. To quote Bruce Lee, I think it was something out, accept what is useful, reject what is useless. And if we can be as methodical like that in our lives, what we will find was a lot of these stories that we're holding on to, we'll see their transient nature. We'll realize they're also an invitation. We can let them go. So it's almost, in a sense, being scientific. The early name of Sufism was Tasawwuf. And a very famous Sufi called Imam Ghazali once stated, if I knew of a science greater than Tasawwuf. And it's basically be methodical. This is where science and mysticism can actually come together and stuff, because it's actually one reality. It's two different ways of seeing it. The scientist is theoretical, the mystics experience it. One crosses the bridge, we realize we're theoretical as well. So the reality is that's by knowing ourselves, we can bridge these gaps. This is why Einstein had the discoveries that he had. He's a deeply spiritual man. Tesla as well. The same thing. We're missing a massive opportunity to know ourselves and also to live. Maslow talks about this idea of actualization. Actualization is not just a physical or a mental, it's also spiritual. It then means you're moving in perfection, which is why we have this concept called insani kamal, the perfected being. The perfected being sees the transient nature of existence, but still lives in it. This is why we say, granted the world is an illusion, but we still have to live in it. So that then makes the spirituality that you are in a practical reality. So earlier on, I was having a conversation with Phil, and I was like, I really want to come to your talks, because it's just great for me to sit here and go, it is this. Who is listening and who is hearing? But how does that help you? Because sooner or later, we have to come into the nitty-gritty of it. Why is my relationship working the way it is? Why is my conditioning here? And like I said at my last talk, and it was literally, I'm inviting people. This is an invitation. I fully understand the fact that I'm in a forum, there's loads of people sitting here. I can't get it into the nitty-gritty here. This is a business card. It's a calling card. It's saying I'm inviting you. And what I'm inviting you to do is not meet me, but meet yourself, to know thyself. And it's the only journey worth taking. Yes.
Do you know you mentioned Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Yeah. I think it's the other way around.
You think it's the other way around?
Yeah. But then I'm going to contradict myself.
What I wanted to ask about,
Go for it, man.
is it like
Sorry, go for it,
you
Gail.
have to have that stability and that level of like having a home, having like...
I think it helps. I think it helps. It depends on the personality. With me, I was gung-ho. I was like, I ended up on floors and stuff like that. That may not be right for you. That's why I said I don't teach, I give out information. And the information is up to you to do what you want with it and stuff and everything, because it's your journey. And I come along, and there's no coincidence we're sitting in this room and doing this thing. It all depends on you. I was militant. I ended up on floors in different places. If the guy had a beard and he had a funny sounding name, I was across the country to see the guy. In retrospect, it was dangerous. I spent 2 weeks on the side of the hill in the Highlands meditating. In retrospect, dangerous. But it was okay for me. I don't recommend it for other people. But there may be somebody who goes, right, that's what I'll do. But the reality is that's where you have to trust yourself. That's the bit where we're falling over. We're giving our power over. The very fact I'm sitting here, people are giving over their power right now. I want to hear something. But you're not going to hear me. You're going to hear yourself. You're still going to filter it. So it's about taking that power back and realizing that what you're looking for is yourself. Does that make sense? Because if it does, you can tell me later what I actually said. I've got to do a bit of humor. I'm sorry. I was going to be all grown up for this keynote. Yes, you in the back. You've got to come to the front. I can't hear you on. Oh, man, what's wrong with you? Joey, why would people... Because someone hand this woman a microphone. Yeah, there is. Now what? Yeah, there is. There's a self and there's the self. And one of them's the self, which leaves a lots of selves becoming the self. Honestly, I know the vein you've asked that question, and I'm just not going to go there, because that then goes into the whole book learning thing. And I burnt my books a long time ago, because if I'm living it, why do I want to theorize it? you know, like I said, the thing that you want to take away from this, if you want to take anything away from here, is that it's a practical living reality. It's a possibility. You've got a living version of it sitting right here. That doesn't mean I'm special. The Dalai Lama didn't turn up when I was born. The 3 wise men didn't travel from the east, you know what I mean? I was born in a maternity ward, kicking and screaming in Coventry. So I don't have that great spiritual pedigree and all that stuff. I have the brown skin, which I suppose could be used. But the reality is, no, I'm saying it's a perfectly ordinary thing. Because I did all of that. I had those discussions on self. Earlier on today I was doing an intensive and, I was quoting poetry. I was quoting, Qawwali's talking about movement and all that stuff. I did all of that, but I find that there's nothing as clear to me at this moment in time as just sitting here talking to someone. There is something clearer, and, I hope that happens, and that is that one day we just sit here and there's just silence between us. And on that day, I'm not a teacher and you're not a seeker. We're just friends sitting here together. The most beautiful thing, and I quoted it earlier on today, between Shams Tabriz and Rumi was when they sat together, there was after a while, they couldn't tell who was teacher and they couldn't tell who was student. It was just 2 people sitting in a room and they were just sitting there quietly. Our true conversation, as I once said, is in silence. And if our true conversation is in silence, then you have to go past these words. You have to go past anything being said here, because this is a pointer. I'm going to quote Bruce Lee again for some strange reason, but there's a scene in the film Enter the Dragon when he goes, he gets the guy to kick him, and he goes, how did, what do you think? He goes, let me think. He goes, don't think, feel. He goes, like a finger pointing to the moon, and he goes, don't concentrate on the finger. You'll miss all the heavenly glory. Do not concentrate on this guy. He's pointing something. What's he pointing at? And I said this at my talk last year. I'm like, what am I actually pointing at? Because my real conversation hasn't actually happened yet. It hasn't worked. Who am I pointing to? What am I pointing to? What is this reality we keep hearing about? Big peoples. I'm joking. That's why, I do this the way I do this. I'm just sitting here and my position's not going to change. I'm inviting you to come and see me. And what I mean by that is, no, I'm not saying come to my retreat and all of this stuff. What I'm saying is I'm inviting you to come forward and meet me. And in that, what will happen is you have to let go of your stories. And when you let go of your stories, you will realize there's no me here and there's no you here. There's just this reality. That's why Rumi talks of beyond ideas of right doing and wrong doing. I say, forget the beyond, just sit here. Dive into that wrongdoing, right doing. Dive into that pain. Dive into all of that. And you may find that you've heard this a million times, but you might actually experience that you are actually the answer to the question that you've asked. You are. There is no other answer. There are no others. There's just this singularity.